Welcome to day number 10 of my Ancient Inheritance walkthrough. This is a good time to mention that there's only about 4 days of Ancient Inheritance left, so if you haven't gotten to floor number 4 yet, you might want to make sure you put a little extra effort into picking up chests along the way so that you can get enough currency, enough dream shards to be able to buy out the shop, or at least get the items from the shop you're really interested in. Now, I believe last night while I was sleeping, the guild took out the last warden and opened up the priest. And yep, there he is. So I think with 70 provisions, I might be able to get there. Now the Scorpetra boss in this corner was taken out by my guildmates, so I don't have to worry about picking that boss up. So I'll grab this chest and slide on over to the mana lift. Actually, there's a relic shrine just north of that stone pillar looking thing, so I'll grab that first. And it looks like my options are trash, trash, and more trash, so I guess I'll grab this wooden doll. Who knows, maybe I'll do some normal fights for looting on the last couple of days and it'll be useful. The knight and the ranger boosters, I've not specialized in either of them, so I'm not going to grab them. I can replace the food or the clovers because they both have 0 uses left, so they're effectively empty slots. And there's nothing really more for me to do over here. I could grab that chest, but I'm doing okay on dream shards right now, and I'm low on provisions, and I don't want it to happen to me again where I get right up to the boss and am not able to fight it. So I'm going to worry about getting the last little bit of loot later and rush the priest. So with all the wardens dead, we can take the teleport to the central island. If you are a guild organizer, I recommend you put a note on the north teleport. It'll help people find it. Just makes it a little bit easier to say, hey everybody, teleport here. And you know, come to think of it, I'm not sure there are any other teleports on this map, just those 2, so I guess it really didn't matter. So here's a chest on the way, and the tent does have uses left, so I will steal one of those tent uses. Okay, now I finally get to use my Scorpetra team that I've been jonesing to use and was denied last time. Now, Scorpetra has some interesting mechanics. What makes her difficult is she will use a skill called Scorpetra's Curse. And it always targets the highest HP unit on the team and makes them immobile, kind of like the green expedition, the ice expedition. The way you dispel that is you got to hit Scorpetra 5 times, and it dispels that buff. And that's a little bit tough because dual attacks are turned off, so you can't cheese it with units like Kitty Clarissa. You need to have your healer on the team not be your highest HP unit. That's really the big takeaway from this. And units that have multiple attacks in their kit are really high value. Now, as much as I really wanted to take down this fight and show a really high score, Scorpetra's barely got a sliver of health left, so once again I'm going to rush a team. Probably not the optimal team, but it's got the bones of what I need it to do, and it doesn't use units that I plan to use for the priest. Sirmia with her S1 EE is a chance for a double hit that will help cycle off the Scorpion's Curse. I'm going to use Apocalypse Ravi because she self-heals when she's hit, so she's a really good unit to absorb that Scorpion's Curse. I'm going to use Blaze Dingo. He's a fantastic healer and damage dealer for this. His S2 grants an extra turn, or his S2 can go into his S1, so there's another double hit. And Yufine, I can burn her S3 for an extra attack. I should be able to stack up 5 hits and dispel Scorpetra's Curse pretty easily. Put Proof of Valor on Ravi just so she could suck up some additional hits, reduce the incoming damage, and hopefully her healing can stay on top of her. Blaze Dingo would have been better on Celestine, but I forgot to change his artifact off of the PvE farming artifact. Sirmia I've got on Jacko's symbol just to do some extra damage when there's debuffs, because my Yufine will spam some debuffs. this might even full clear the boss from start. I think this is a really good team, and I'm a little disappointed that I don't get to see just how good it is. There's 1 hit, there's 2 hits, there's 3 hits, and Surmi will be the 4th hit, so the very next unit that attacks would dispel Scorpetra's curse, and then Aravi can start self-healing with her S1 attacks. But I killed it, so we don't get to see this mechanic go much further, but if you're looking for a team, this is a fantastic one. I highly recommend it. Now I'm down to 33 provisions, so I looked at the map, I counted hexes, and I've got enough to go over and hit that relic shrine to the east, and then go up and kill the priest. I can always come back and hit the mini boss on the side for the guild chest when I'm doing some looting, but I want to get at least 1 hit on the priest today. So I'll start sliding over to the right. I'll come back for the chest later. I'm doing okay on chests, and on my way back to the priest I'll grab that scroll. Oh! Okay, so there's 16 provisions. That gives me plenty of food. Not only do I have enough now to get back to the priest, I have enough to hit the Banshee mini boss over on the right hand side, and that's great because in my opinion I've got what is probably the best Banshee team out there aside from cheesing it with knights. And as an extra bonus I leveled up, so this is really nice because this gets me high enough level that with my enhancements I've now maxed out warriors. You notice under the warrior symbol it says max, so there's no point in grabbing warrior statues or pumping any more into that. And my soul weavers are just a couple levels away from max, so I'll save the class enhancements to finish them off when I level up more. Now the Banshee fight. Okay, so the Banshee fight's very straightforward. She CR pushes every time somebody takes a turn. She grants herself stackable attack and speed, so she really starts zooming and hitting hard. She gives herself a barrier that can't be dispelled. You just have to bust it down, and the strength of the barrier increases as the fight goes on. If you don't break the barrier, she hits a little bit extra hard. We're going to ignore pretty much all these mechanics and just power through with a whole bunch of pushing units. First is Green Lots, powerful healer with 100% push. Then we'll use Emilia, powerful healer with a 50% push and an attack buff. And then we'll use Doris, another powerful healer with a 50% CR push. And we'll use we'll use Commander Lorena, who has got a very strong attack and can soul burn for extra attacks. I put her on Proof of Valor just to do some extra damage. The other units are healer units, so I gave them artifacts that just made them better healers. This is a ridiculous cheese fight. I'm not even joking when I say I think it could have full cleared if I hadn't gotten very unlucky at the end. So I pushed up Commander Lorena even though she was about to take a turn. I wanted her to have the attack buff. She is on a rage set, and I don't get a lot of use out of that rage set, but Lots does have a defense or an attack break on his S1. And Doris does have a blind on her S1, and they both proc often enough that you can get some mileage out of it. So here, for example, Lorraine is going to take a turn, so there's no reason to push. So I just used the S1. I didn't get the attack break though, so no rage set bonus damage on this round. Now you notice every time you hit the Banshee, you'll see a little pop-up saying speed and attack have increased times whatever. I literally got it up to times 99 at one point, and this team was still holding strong. There's the blind debuff. That was really good timing on the blind debuff. It makes the attack do very little damage. I'm going to speed this fight up because it's very, very, very long. So there's the barrier I was talking about. Early on, the Banshee's moving slow enough that, especially if Lorena has her soul burn, you can just burst the barrier down. If you burst the barrier down, you get an extra round of attacks. in and don't have to worry about the barrier coming right back up, because when the barrier's up, it's hard to score damage. But eventually, she's moving so fast, she kind of goes from one barrier to the other. You start to get your rhythm. You start to sandbag using Lorina's soulburn outside of the barrier so that the one attack she gets off between barriers, you can soulburn and do extra damage. But as you can see, with the double healing impact of having regen buffs off green lots, regen buffs off Doris, defense buffs off Doris, shields and barriers off of Emilia, the team just doesn't die. So it's a little bit slow, but especially if you can get a debuff on, Lorina hits for like 125k on her S3 and another 100k on her S1 if you soulburn it into debuffs. So you can start to rack up the damage pretty fast. We're over 3 million points and we're showing no sign of slowing down. If there's a better Warrior Soul Weaver combo team for this fight, I haven't found it yet. Now, given my Warriors are max level and my Soul Weavers are level 13, and that's helping a lot here on floor 4, you might find you can't withstand the damage if your units aren't that high of a level. But even at lower levels, this team should still rack up very, very high damage on this boss. We're rounding the corner on 4 million points. Now remember, in a pinch, Green Lots can S2 himself, which will make the Unfading Memories artifact or Rod of Amaryllis artifact proc and heal everybody, and then he can do his S3, which will make those artifacts proc again, heal everybody, push everybody, and give regen buff. So sometimes it's worth it to push yourself instead of pushing Lorina for damage. Now, if you built mages instead of warriors, you can do this with any good solid damage dealing mage. Spectre Tenebria on lifesteal would be great, and you could use auxiliary lots along with lots to push people. Lots, and either Doris or Emilia would probably be a really good mage combo team. But the triple Soul Weaver, I think, was the sauce for this team. That's what really let me push it to the next level. Now let's speed it up even more here. I'm not even kidding. I think this fight took a full 20 minutes to do. A defense breaker probably would have been a really good idea. I just wanted Lorina because of her self-CR pushing to help her cycle her turns a little bit better. Now eventually I got a very unlucky roll where the timing was just off and Lorina got double tapped and I didn't stick a blind or an attack break on Scorpetra when the barrier burst. And she eventually kills Lorina. And there it is. Now, I went ahead and stuck with it for a few minutes, but I was only doing about 10k damage per round. I suspect if I kept healing, I might have actually 3 hours from now have been able to kill this boss by myself, but I got other guildies right behind me. They can do some of the extra damage and get a clear bonus as well, so I eventually just stopped using heals at all and just used S1s until the Banshee killed me. So there's 9.35 million damage on a 10 million health boss in one entry. So I hope that helps you deal with this Banshee. And I'm glad I got those 16 provisions. That was a great fight. So grab the scroll on the way back. Okay, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice. Decrease a random level by 1. I've got the provisions to push warriors back up if it gets tapped. Hopefully it doesn't. Never punished. Excellent. By provisions, I meant I have enough class enhancement points that if warriors or soul weavers had gotten knocked down, I could have pushed it right back up because I've been saving my class enhancements. I'm going to skip these books because I'm already at max level for my my warriors, so I'll let other people in the guild grab that experience, and it gives me enough provisions to hit the priest. Let's see, 6 food per entry. Oh, 7 food per entry. Okay, so I can hit it twice. I'm going to try something a little different with my team number 1 than I did in the last priest video, because I want to show a little bit more diversity in teams. All the priest fights on all the floors are the same. So you can look at the priest fight videos from any floor or anybody doing any priest fight on YouTube, and they all have the same mechanics. The only difference, the only things that change is how hard the priest hits, how fast it moves, and how much health it has. So important things you need on any priest team. You need a lot of debuffs, a lot of reliable debuffs. For that I'm going to take Khawazu. Khawazu's got defense breaks, burns, and a healable all over his kit. You need a strip. I'm going to take Inferno Khawazu. He has a guaranteed strip to get rid of that counter buff. You need a really solid healer with lots of cleanses. Achates is probably the best for that. And you need a defense break. Khawazu's got a defense break, and so does Luna. I put Khawazu on Junkyard Dog, and I put Inferno Khawazu on Cradle of Life to give me more chances at debuffs. I get a little greedy and put Luna on Jacko's Symbol for damage. I could have run her on another copy of Junkyard Dog as well. Now, Inferno Khawazu's burns off his S1 are only single targets, so they're useless for clearing phase, but they still do damage. I went ahead and ripped in regular Khawazu's S3. I got the heal block and the defense break. Heal block's not really necessary at this point, but it'll be great to use when we transition phase. Luna is going to rip her S3, which also has a chance to defense break. 100k damage, not bad at all. I could have used the S3, I guess there. It would have been back in time for the strip, but I still just stuck the S1. Achates, I'm saving her S3 because you need the heal, the cleanse specifically for that attack, because it puts seal and defense break on everybody. I got real lucky, it only sealed Luna, who's the only unit with passives, and nobody got a defense break, but you still want to make sure you have Achates S3 cleanse to deal with that situation. Another nice thing about Inferno Khawazu is those AoE attacks will cleanse any debuffs he has on him, and he'll heal when he pushes up. I'm going to use the S3 here because the seal on Luna does take away a chunk of her stats, and I want her to do a lot more damage.
Leave it to me.
Only a 3 hit. Luna has a chance to do a 3, 4, or 5 hit on her S1, and I got the weakest one, so not a lot of damage off Luna. Okay, so here we are. This is the 5th round where you have to have at least 2 debuffs on the priest, and they have to be, if they're burn or bleeds, they need to be 2-turn debuffs. So there I've got an attack break, or sorry, defense break. That's the only one that's going to stick around. Oh no, and there's a burn as well. So I've got 2. I need a 3rd, so I really need a debuff off this. Can I get a heal block? No, but I got I got heal blocks. I got heal block, defense break, and a 2-turn burn, so I'm good to progress phase. I'll just burn Luna for some extra damage here. 3 debuffs remain, so this does not kill my whole team. It pushes Khawazu up. Since he has Vigor, this is a guaranteed strip. It ignores ER, and that will get rid of the counter attack buff. And now I'm free and clear to move all the way to the last phase with this team. So I think this was a very successful team, and it really demonstrates the bones of what you need to fight Priest. Defense breaks, a good cleanser, a source of strip for that counterattack buff, and the ability to stack 3 buffs or more on the Priest. And remember, 1-turn burns and 1-turn bleeds won't stick around, and I'm pretty sure the Priest is immune to poison. Yeah, the Priest is definitely immune to poison. Also, the Priest is also immune to HP scaling, so Daydream Joker will not do you any good here, so put good damage dealing artifacts on your units if you want to stack your damage. That's why I chose Jacko's Symbol. Portrait of the Saviors is also really good as long as the Priest is above 50% health. If you're below 50% health, you want to use artifacts like Symbol of Unity for damage. So we're on the last phase. The Priest guarantees wipes on his next attack, so I'll just rip Khawazu's S3. We'll get that extra burn detonation damage. 1.6 million. Not my highest scoring team by far, but still a very solid 1 million plus offense team to use on the Priest. Now I do have 10 provisions left, so I'm going to hit the Priest one more time. When you're on floor 4, you do want to spam hit the Priest. Save some provisions to do a little bit of wandering around and farming on the next day, and then come back and hit the Priest again. Ideally, you hit the Priest every single day. at least once, maybe twice, and then use the rest of your provisions to go out and hunt for treasure chests and loot, attack normal bosses. That way you'll have enough dream shards to buy out the shop. Now this team is a little bit more of a classic priest team. I'm using Angelic Montmorency as my healer because she's got a lot of cleansing. I'm using Fire Ken with Jacko's symbol for damage. He also is bringing up the defense breaks and debuffs. I'm using Kitty Clarissa for an additional source of cleanse. Her S2 also strips, and with her dual attacks on Cradle of Life, hopefully she'll contribute to debuffs. And I put Junkyard Dog on Mediator Queric, who is fantastic for this. He's got an attack buff, he's got a strip, he's got a cleanse, and he does decent damage.
Do your best. Meow.
So, because I've got two other sources of cleansing, there's no reason to sit on Kitty Clarissa's skill. So I'll transform her and try to get some attacks off. So far, no debuffs out of 2 units that are loaded with debuffs. Hope that's not a bad sign. I'm a little frozen here. I'm not sure what to do. In hindsight, I probably should have used the S3 skill for the attack up and immunity, but I went ahead and went for the push.
I'll knock your teeth out.
And now Ken can get off his S3. Hopefully this defense breaks. It does, so now we'll start to actually do decent damage. Again, I could have S3 there. There's no reason for me to be sitting on Mediator Queric skills like this. I guess I was saving them in case I needed the cleanse, but you know, I've got Momo's S2 for the cleanse, so I could have gotten several rounds with attack buff off and done a lot more damage. It's good to use this skill here because the vigor buff will last until the round where I need debuffs, and that guarantees me a defense break. And that will be one of my 3 debuffs.
I'm sensing corrupt energy.
Again, I'm really not sure why I'm just sitting here staring at the screen not using Queric's kit, but finally I get off the stick and get his S3 going so everybody has an attack buff and I can start doing some respectable damage.
I'll keep going.
Okay, so this isn't the debuff round, that's next round, so this is just another round of attacks. I'm going to use Momo's S3 to heal everybody up and CR push her so she can get another attack in. I need to save his S2 because I need that to strip the counterattack buff after next phase.
I'll help you.
Okay, I'll have Angelic Montmorency top off the healing here,
That must have been
and we'll be able to progress into this 5th phase. This is where I need to stick 3 debuffs. That burn doesn't count, it's only got 1 turn, so it'll fall away. So I need 3 more unique, or not unique, but 3 more debuffs to progress.
do what I want.
Now, I probably could have used the S2 there for the heal block, but I chanced it for the double hit and got Junkyard Dog proc. So I got 1 burn, I got nothing off of HandGuy. This will guarantee the defense break because of Vigor. That's 2, so I really need a 3rd debuff to stick. Ah! Resisted! Ah! And I wiped. Son of a... That's okay. It's a million score, but man, this team had so much potential. If I hadn't gotten 15%, that would have been easily another 1.6 million team. I would have pushed over 3 million points, but you know what? We got a lot done today. We got to fight Scorpetra. We totally murdered the Banshee, and I still had enough provisions to do 2 fights into the Priest. All this while starting all the way down on the right side of the middle island. So, made some great progress today. Go ahead and collect the loot rewards from killing the Scorpetra boss. The Banshee loot should be available when I log in tomorrow. I'm going to go spend some of this currency. Now, I got enough to buy that last really nice piece, and I'll grab a couple of these mod boxes. I never seem to have enough of them. And let's see, I've got 400, I need 1200 for the Mola, another 500 for the friendship boxes, another 800 there. Yeah, I can easily do this in maybe 1 to 2 days of farming and clear out the shop, and then just continue to spam kill the priest. But You brought me good luck last time. Let's see if you can get me lucky this time on this helm or armor. Decent start. 5 crit chance, and it's a minimum speed roll, but never turn your nose up at speed. Oh, more speed, a 3 and a 4. Hey, yo. Okay, 20 speed. Just need 5%, or 5 more points. Come on, 5. Almost there. Just need a 5. 20 speed, let's go. Okay, one more. One more. For crying out loud. One more. 5 speed. 5, 5, 5, 5! Ah! Okay, I got a 5, but I got it in health. A min roll in health. Okay, so that's a little disappointing, but you know what? I take this. It's a really nice piece. I managed to dodge effectiveness. It's 71 gear score. I'm not going to complain about it. It's a really solid piece. So I hope you guys have a real good day in Ancient Inheritance, and if you're celebrating tomorrow, I hope you have a happy holiday, and I will see you all in the next video.